Are we live? Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Let's get IG on. All right. Hold on. I don't think we're live over here yet. How are you guys doing out there today? Let's see. IG, come on. Let's get live on here. All right. I think we're getting live on IG. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, Margie. Good afternoon. Thanks for jumping in here today. All right. So we're live on IG now. Good afternoon, everybody out there. Hey. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Margie. Happy Thursday, guys. Happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone had a fabulous week so far. Hey, Laverne. Thank you for jumping on here. Wave, wave, wave. Yes, yes, yes. Hi, Karen. Thank you, guys. Hit like and share on this video. Get your friends on board. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Karen. Thank you for jumping in. All right, guys. So today we're going to have a wonderful conversation, and I have a special guest on today. So we're going to have a good time today. I want you guys to really keen in on this. And if you have any questions, make sure that you ask those questions while we have an expert at the stuff that we're going to talk about today on board. So make sure that you ask your questions today, okay? Today, as far as the building blocks of wealth that we're talking about, one of the aspects of doing so has to do with insurance. And so today we have an expert insurance agent in the house, and she will give you guys some great information on we're going to talk about the importance of insurance, what type of insurance there are, how to build wealth with insurance, and why we need it. So this can be a great conversation. I'm looking forward to this. I am very excited. Hey, Inez, good afternoon. Thank you for jumping in. So you guys hit like and share on here. So I'm looking forward to this as well because, of course, you can't be everything. I was an insurance agent. Didn't last very long, of course, but last a while, but not as long as it should. So I am excited to bring on today Miss Nita Lane, who is an expert at this stuff, and she's going to help us out. So 3 points we're going to cover today, guys, in the 4 building blocks of wealth that we're talking about, which is insurance is one of those. We'll talk about the types of insurance. There's so many different types of insurance. We're going to talk about some of those. And then, of course, we want to talk about the ones that you must have, that you just need to have, regardless of whether you have no other insurance. There's some that you just really, really want to make sure that you do have. And then the second point today, we're going to cover the reason that insurance is important. Right? Reason is important. I know it's one of those things that we put on the back burner, but we're going to talk about the reason it's important. And then we're going to talk about how it helps us to build wealth and, the whole purpose of getting insurance. Okay. So that's what we're going to do today, guys. I am so happy to have you guys here today and so happy to have Miss Nita Lane on here. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce Miss Nita Lane right now to the floor. As we discuss what insurance is, let's see, do we get Nita on here? Okay. Hello, Nita. Hello. Can you hear me? Are you
Lord.
there?
Okay. Technical difficulties.
That's okay. That's just fine.
I'm doing the best I can.
No, that's good. You're perfect right there. I just love it. You're perfect right there. That's good right there. That's awesome. So I talked about insurance and okay, I think you have your phone on, Nita. Yeah, turn the phone off. Okay, I think that helps. Okay. All right, so I'm letting everybody know what is insurance. What is insurance? It is a means of protection. It's a means of protection, guys, in the event of a loss. And the event of a loss is a means of protection. It's one of those management risk thing that we all need to make sure that we have in place. So that's why we're going to discuss this today. And there's so many different types, as I talked about. We have life insurance, auto insurance, there's health insurance, homeowners insurance, property insurance, disability insurance, renters insurance, guys. There's insurance, flood, pet. There's an insurance for almost just everything that you encounter in your daily life. There is insurance that can cover that stuff. You can cover your pet, your life, your apartment, your items in your home, your car, of course, your business, of course, business owners. You need to have insurance. You can cover your business contents. You can cover loss of revenue. you can insure just about everything in your daily life. So we want to make sure it's a means of protection. And that's why it is so important. So we're going to talk about maybe just a few of the insurance that we want to make sure you guys have in place, right? Say, hey, Lerner James, thanks for jumping in here. Yes. Hi, hon. How are you? Margie. Okay, warm welcome to Miss Nita. All right. My co-worker. Hey, Nita. Miss Margie, say hello. Are you there? Okay, so yeah, let's just bring Miss Nita Lane back so she can at least discuss that you guys are you here? Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Woohoo!
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
Okay, so let's let the folks know at least what the major type of insurance that they should have. I mean, we talked about like the auto, the home, the health, life, at least maybe like 4 or 5 type of insurance that they really need to have and why they really need to have it. So we're going to talk about the reasons. We're going to talk about the first one would be the type of insurance. And then the second point, we're going to talk about the reasons. So let them know what type of insurance they really need to make sure that they do have out of all the insurance.
So I'll really start by piggybacking on what you're saying. There are so many types of insurances, period, for anything we want to do in life and anything we're involved in life. It looks like I still have some feedback, and it might be my iPad. So 3 types of insurance besides the everyday stuff, the auto, the home, and of course, if you live in an apartment, you really need to have your contents insurance. You would like to have your stuff covered. The building probably has coverage, but you would probably like to have your stuff covered. So if we're really talking about protection, that's one thing, income protection or future income protection. But if we're talking about wealth building, that's a whole nother side. And they should coincide together. As you're protecting, you should be building wealth at the same time. So there's a curve that insurance takes. Life insurance is the most important to us. So from 0 to about 35, you need to have life insurance. After that, you need to really have some savings and some investments accounts. So what types of insurance? Term. Everybody kind of understands term. If you put it in relationships, you've got a 5-year term, you've got a 10-year term, 30-year, 20-year term. So if you're 30 years old and you want a 30-year term, that'll probably cover you, your kids for the future if something happened to the income earner. So life insurance is number 1. You should have that. The other insurance that you should probably grow right alongside is called an annuity insurance. And I believe Elaine mentioned universal life, which is a combination of whole life and term. So as boring as insurance is, the best way to really put this, do you want to be covered for a loss, period? Mm-hmm. Loss of income, loss of property, loss of actually looks as well, because in this town, Los Angeles, there's coverage even for your body parts. If it was making money for you, like Mae West, she had $1 million insurance on her breasts because those were the things that was making her money in the movies, and that was in the 30s. So okay, that's what I mean by life insurance and definitely an annuity at the same time.
Okay, so that tells us, guys, I mean, like I said, just about any and everything you come in touch with or in contact with, or you have in your possession can be insured. Body parts can be insured, everything, that's a part of your business, the whole thing. So again, this is a very serious subject, but I think it's one that is ignored for the most part. We just kind of get what we think we need to have because there's a law that says you got to have auto insurance. So we just get that, you know what I mean? And then if you bought a property, there's a law that says you got to get insurance for that. But outside of that, we don't think of the things that they don't make us do. that we can insure in the event of a loss or in the event of, any kind of unforeseen circumstances. And as far as asset protection to Nita, that as you talked about, it's, you guys know, if you have an automobile and you don't have it insured, and God forbid you have an accident and you lose the auto, you're out of pocket. Of course, you got to go to your savings, whatever that might be, and it can bring such financial distress. And this is what we're trying to avoid when we talk about the importance of having life insurance. So, I want to move on to the number 2 point today, guys, which is the reason that you need to have it, which is part of what we're talking about. We incorporated that in number 1, but as far as protection for the family, protection for the assets, protection for everything else, can you give them shed a little bit of light as to what insurance company will do if you have a policy? And in the event of a loss to your assets or to anything else, what happens there? What do they cover? And does it depend on what's in the policy, or how does that really work?
Everything is dependent on the policy. Exclusions, number 1. Inclusion is number 2. But of course, you get the coverage for the item or for the thing. So let's kind of put this in a place where we can probably all get it. Way back when everything was shipped, everything was going across the oceans, there was something called marine insurance. So that meant when folks went across the sea and got goods and products and raw material to bring them back to another country, somebody had to say, hey, I'll take 10% of that voyage to ensure those things come to the shore. Somebody else said 50%. Somebody else said, I got 70% of that. So when the things returned, of course, they were building wealth with the items that were returned. But what happened if the ship sank and all the products was lost, all the cargo was lost? Now that 10%, he doesn't feel too bad, but that 70% guy feels absolutely horrible. Had he had insurance up to 60%, he only would have lost 10%. Insurance will not cover 100% of nothing. Let's just face that. They'll only cover up to put you back in a condition where you probably were before, but you're going to suffer some loss. So if that maritime insurance or marine insurance kind of makes sense to you, then that's really the thing you want to cover. What do you value? My daughter puts insurance on her cell phone. She values that thing.
Okay.
Something happens to it, you drop it. Isn't it a couple $1,000s now to get it replaced?
Right. Very expensive. So, so we have insurance on our cell phones. There you have it, guys. Insurance on the cell phones now. So very important. Again, so they will either pay full cost or replacement cost or reimburse you, or however that works. And again, this is based on your policy coverage, right? Nita, this is
based on your policy coverage, but exclusions is the thing to focus on, because when they exclude something, it doesn't matter what the policy covers. If they exclude you threw your phone across the room at somebody because you were fighting, that's not it.
Okay.
It has to be an accident.
So it's important, guys, when you have a policy, regardless of what that policy is. And I'm glad you mentioned exclusion, Nita, because again, if you notice on your auto policy, guys, they usually ask who are drivers or who live in the home. And some people are excluded from the policy. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think a lot of us may get caught up in this one, especially when it comes to our automobile. And then, of course, if you don't notice, you don't know the answer to these questions, and something happens, you have an auto accident and they're not covered because someone who was excluded from your policy was driving that car. So that means they were not covered. So if there is an accident, you would probably just not get reimbursed. And a lot of people may have wind up in this situation just not knowing it, because you figure I have insurance. So what's the problem, right?
Exactly.
So that exclusion is very, very important. Good point, key guys. So when there is any type of insurance policy, make sure you know what is covered and what is excluded. I'm glad you brought that up.
Life insurance. So we purchase life insurance and we get it. Elaine and I are business owners. So we say, oh, I want something to cover my business income, and I want something that'll cover my life insurance. But if we got to the point where it was proved that our death was caused by suicide within 2 years of purchasing, that's an exclusion. So you see, it's a whole bunch of things that come up, but exclusions are more important than inclusions. And I can't stress that enough.
All right. So if you have a good agent, they will tell you what's excluded. They'll go over that policy. They'll let you know what's in it and what's not in it. So that it all gets right down to that before you sign at the bottom line. A good part agent will let you know this is what's in it, this is what's not in it. And so you know what you got. And of course, it has a lot to do with premium, of course, because I'm sure the more things that are inclusive probably cost more. But of course, don't not get it because you feel you can afford it. There's something that you can be covered, right? All right, so that sounds good, guys. If you have any questions, be sure to put it down here for Nita to respond to, so we can get those questions answered. If you have any questions, so someone have a question on here. Let's see. I need to get some lighting in here. Learner James, let me get some lighting in here. I think my phone just seems kind of dark. We gotta be able to see these questions. All right, let's see here. Okay, this is a little bit better. Some of my folks over here at IG. Okay, so she asked, where can I find good insurance, especially with diabetes and heart problems?
Is that life insurance?
Is that life insurance, Larna? Is that life insurance we're looking for, Larna James?
Or health insurance?
Oh yeah, life or health. Well, try life insurance.
Okay. If it's life insurance, then there's something called the Medical Information Bureau. And that bureau has everybody's pre-existing conditions. They have it all down. If you've ever gone to the doctor for any type of disease or any type of problem, they already know. The insurance companies will find that out. So I'm glad that you're open to share your diabetes and your heart problem. There are companies that will offer specialty insurance for those two ailments. However, it's going to be at a higher premium than normal, and you probably will be rated based on the care that you're receiving, especially if they're controlled diabetes and a controlled heart problem. Then depending on the drugs that you're on or the medicines that you're on, you will be underwritten, meaning they're going to go to that bureau to find out how far gone, how far along, how devastating or how undevastating your particular conditions are. But there are insurance carriers that can do it.
Okay, so there is you can get a policy. It just all depends, and there are carriers that can do that. Also, Loretta had a question. Can you explain? She said death and dismemberment.
That death and dismemberment is the most temperamental insurance. It's morbid in its wake. Nobody really wants to think of an accidental death and dismemberment, especially dismemberment. You lose an arm, you lose a leg. More employers have instituted this type of insurance for their employees because if there is an accidental death, you're on your way to work or you are at work and you die at work because somebody shoots at work, which is very common now, that accidental death policy comes into play to help the employer actually control the cost of litigation against them.
Okay.
Dismemberment, you've
I see.
lost an arm or a leg, and of course, some of us, we ride a motorcycle with a friend and we end up losing a limb. We really would want that dismemberment insurance because now we can no longer do the job that we were hired to do. So,
Okay.
but it's
So that's what that means. Lorna,
kind of
hopefully that
morbid.
helps you out. So our point today, the second point was the reason for the having insurance. And of course, guys, you hear a lot of those reasons. Nita pointed out a lot of things that, a lot of pointers that we need to pay attention to and why we should have it, and just things that you should pay attention to within your policy. Okay. And one other part that I want to add to this, because we're speaking of building wealth, the expense out of pocket should something happen, guys, especially if you do not have, let's say, medical insurance. And a lot of us are very familiar with having large medical bills. A lot of us are familiar with having large medical bills. Again, if there's not any insurance to cover that stuff, guys, it becomes a personal financial burden and something that you have to pay out of pocket, right? So if you had some type of savings, of course, that's it. It'd be gone trying to cover those medical bills. So seriously important. Again, make sure that the key things that we do, especially on a daily basis, and take care of our health, that kind of stuff. And then auto and property, which can wipe us out immediately on one accident, or just one item can wipe everything that we have saved to date, all our 50 years worth of savings. All right. So importance of reason why you should have insurance. All right. So that's a great point. Let's move on to the third point, guys. Again, put your questions on the board so we could see them. Then, so Nita, we want to move into the wealth building aspect of insurance. And a lot of us hear about, you can build wealth with insurance, and you can get certain policies, certain types of insurance policies that you can have that has this cash buildup in it. And I think a lot of us is confused about that. Some of us seems to think that we can just call the insurance company and get their money back when we need it. I don't know that that's how it works, but you can enlighten us on how that part works. Like the universal life, or whichever ones has the cash value that can be used, for education, retirement, whatever that is. So can you clarify?
I can clarify, even on personal experience, but I won't do the personal thing yet. I will just give you a general. So we're talking about using insurance as a wealth building deal. Historically, when you were owned by somebody, they definitely had an insurance policy on you. If you lost your life during your ownership, then hey, let's say we had race horses. So we have insurance on our horses. Something happened to them, they died. We're building wealth. We don't have to go into our pocket to get us another horse. All right. So insurance is similarly like that, owning something of value and having it work for you. Instead of saving, sometimes the best thing is to put it in an insurance policy that will invest your money. So you can have a mutual life insurance policy. That means they go to all the mutual stocks and they will put your money into those types of stocks. Part of your premium will go for your life insurance. The other part will go to wealth building. Then you'll have the index universal life policy. Part of that premium you pay will go into the life insurance policy, and part of it will go into the index, meaning it will go into investments through the S&P 500 or any of those stocks. And you just more or less have to do your homework, because if you're putting it in there and you hope to just get it out because now you have a financial need, that is not the best thing to do. Insurance
Okay.
is all about time. It is always a horizon. It is always a limit on what it can do. It is not a
Okay.
bank.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned. I'm glad you say that because I've had people approach me with questions from them having conversation with different agents where they're asked to put, a large sum of money within a policy, and the client, their whole goal was to be able to have access to those funds when they need them, and just the little knowledge that I had, it didn't seem like it was a place where you could, oh, I need some cash now, let me call the insurance company up and have them send me $10,000 back. I didn't imagine that that's how it worked. I'm glad you're mentioning that, because it sounds to me like the premium, some of it is going to your life insurance and some of it is going to an investment, but getting that money from the investment, I think that's where everyone gets confused. You can't call and ask for a check, right?
What I mentioned was two ways to go. One would be to have insurance and build cash value. That's
Okay.
a separate type of policy. The policy that's probably been approached to you is called an annuity. It too can be in the index, or it can be a variable annuity, and they would want you to put a certain amount of money in that policy. I put 40,000 in one time. Now, how I got the 40,000, let's just kind of clear that up. I didn't win the lotto or anything. I just had some money out of my refi. So I took some of that refi money and put it in a 10-year annuity. It had to stay in the annuity for 3 years without me touching it. It had to also stay in for the full 10 before I could really surrender it. So it had to be there. Other than that, I broke the contract. If I surrendered my 40,000, 5,000 would not be mine because that was a surrender charge. So yeah, there's some misconceptions about annuities. Variable annuity, you're in the market. You're going to go up and down, up and down. Index annuity, you're going to hold and only make a certain amount of money, maybe 4% of something. So annuities are good.
So sounds like we're gonna have to have a whole annuity session, guys.
Yes, annuity should be by itself.
It's because again, there's a little complex, and I think Margie had a statement or a question over here. But we would have to have a whole annuity thing, because it's I think it's a little complicated and misleading to some folks. I mean, because it's wealth building. Sharice, can you send that question statement to me, please? Because again, people think that you put the money in there and you can get it, but there is also again, I don't know if this still exists because it's been a minute since I wrote policies, but where you could get loans against those policies, and I don't know if that's even a smart thing, or if that even still exists.
Still can.
You still can.
Still can get a loan against your whole life policy, but it's going to be 8% interest to you. You got to pay back.
So you borrow your money and you pay.
You borrow your money and you're paying yourself back.
Yes, it's a very complex. Margie's question was, how do you determine if you should replace one life insurance policy with another?
That is really a good question and very timely. Again, if our kids are grown, everybody's gone out of the house. We took out a 20-year life insurance policy when we were 35. At 55, we needed another one. And we need another one because, hello, now we're on the downside of the horizon. But we are. So we probably couldn't afford what we wanted to when we had a term policy. We needed a whole life policy. We need something that would be paid up so that somebody could bury us, or we needed something where we could establish some wealth building to give the kids some cash, because here we go. We have done something very, very smart, and that was to replace our life insurance with another type of insurance. Back to the index, well, back to universal life. They put what is called a rider on it, and that rider covered you for terminal illness. So suppose, unfortunately, you did get cancer. Some whole life policies, they're waiting for you to die. They're not giving you any of your money because you got cancer. But a terminal illness rider would give you 75% of your insurance policy so that you could help yourself live through the condition. So there's a lot of things we need to do, and that is a perfect question.
This is a lot, guys. This is a lot. But I'm glad, again, insurance, we all kind of tend to just, breeze over it, only get what we need, hear about what it is, what's mandated that we need to have, and we don't think about it. Unfortunately, something happens, and then that's when we all think about this stuff. But we're having this conversation, so it's a wealth building conversation we're having. Insurance is really the key as far as you can tell right now. That is a thin line between whether you could be completely financially depleted with all your cash. Something was to happen if you don't have insurance coverage on your major assets and yourself and, other family members. So Nita, I see that this is a lot. I know we're trying to simplify it. We just want to make sure that they do some of the key things here today, guys, and make sure that you get the right foot coverage. And of course, you will have to have a major conversation with your agent as to what it is that you're being covered for. And Nita just mentioned a lot of stuff there in terms of, like Margie's question, when should you replace one? I came from that world where you have more coverage when your kids are younger, and then you have less coverage when they get older and more investments. So, kind of that's how I simplify that matter. But so if Nita want to add another something else onto this, I think there's another question on board there. It's from Margie. Another statement Margie has here. She says, Sharice, let me have that one, please. So again, guys, she says, what is the best way to shop around for insurance?
Well, I hate to toot my own horn, but I say talk to somebody. Talk to somebody who's not a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson.
That's a good point.
I'm a tells person. I'm a show and tell right from third grade. So if you find somebody who will just show you and tell you, you got a better chance of getting some insurance that you absolutely are proud of and you value it.
All right. There you have it, guys. So there you have it. Not someone who is just trying to sell you insurance, someone, like she said, that will show you, someone that will advise you, someone that is going to make sure that you get what you need and only what you need. And, again, we're talking about building wealth. So we want to make sure that we are able to have our dollars in all the right places. All right. So, guys, I want to recap real quick what we talked about today. I know we can go on with this. This is a very interesting conversation and there's a lot involved. But today, the building blocks of wealth, which is the insurance aspect of things, we talked about what is insurance. It is a means of protection. We talked about that. And the various types of insurance. Nita covered a lot of those today. We'll just real quick, we want to make sure that you guys have the key in place, which is like household and some liability insurance and for sure life insurance and auto, things like that. And your contents coverage, a lot of people lost a lot of stuff by not having contents coverage, even if you're in an apartment or a home, wherever you're at. The second point we talked about is the reason it's important, because it can financially wipe you out in the event of something happen, whether there's an illness and you don't have medical insurance, or, whether there's an accident, there's no auto insurance. So that it can wipe you out financially. And then how to build wealth with it. Nita talked about the universal life and these cash value policies and how that annuity works, where monies are invested. Outside of that, I think there's a whole nother conversation that we need to have about this. Nita, would you agree before we close out?
I most certainly agree. I really do. And it should be an ABC type of conversation, not a deep dive, just
Okay.
ABC.
All right. Well, you guys heard that, right? All you people over here on IG, you guys heard that. So we will make that another point. I think when we do that, Nita, we'll be able to maybe like share a screen, and then you'll be able to show some pointers and, just have like a quick, maybe 30-minute lesson or something that people can really see what's going on with that. I think that would be great, because there's a lot of stuff that personally I would need to see as well. All right, so guys, I think that'll cover our 3 points today. We don't want to prolong this. I want you guys to hit like and share on this video, and make sure that all of your folks get this information. Again, let's not just breeze over insurance in general, and make sure that we have certain things covered so that we it eases the stress, right? It eases the stress. All right, so with that said, Nita, any closing thoughts right here before we close out today?
I just want all of us to be in position to be prepared to win. You can't just win. You got to be prepared to win. And when I say win, I'm talking the future years, especially after this pandemic. Get ready.
Right. Let's put things in place. Let's learn from what happened. All right. So with that said, guys, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday with great information on wealth building, taxes, your finances. And you guys, of course, can reach us can reach me at Proby's Tax and Accounting, 323-290-9034. Nita, where can they reach you?
Well, the best number is 310-910-7828. That's 310-910-7828.
Okay, there it is, guys. You can reach Nita Elaine there, insurance expert. You can visit us at probiztax.com at our website. For those of you who still need to get your taxes filed, everything we talked about here, we still need to make sure that we stay in compliance with whatever we do with our entire life, it's including our taxes. So go to probiztax.com. There is a portal there that you guys can upload information to us, and give us a call if you have any further questions with this stuff. Whatever questions you put in here today, I'll come back through here and answer those that relates to Nita. She will be answering those questions. Okay. With that said, I think that is it for me today. Stay tuned. I would hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday and a fabulous weekend. I'll see you guys back here next Tuesday at 1 p.m. With that said, you guys take care of each other and take care of yourself. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.